So the other day I had my ass kicked, and it was awesome. But what is it about fighting that draws people in like an accident on the side of the road that you can't seem to turn away from? Let's take a look. To be clear, I do not condone cruel or unnecessary violence. When I say fighting in this video, I'm purely referring to martial arts as a sport or recreational activity carried out in a controlled environment and systematic manner, or just roughhousing with some friends. And this is not to exclude women as well, because as we all know, you ladies can make great fighters too. Social justice warriors, please leave me alone. Number 3. Genetics. Let me start with a brief history lesson here that I found really fascinating to help put things into perspective and provide better context for you. In a traditional hunter-gatherer society, it was the norm for the men to hunt while the women stuck behind to forage and raise the kids. This was the primary method of subsistence for us anatomically modern humans for almost 200,000 years. This is because we survived and thrived in groups, aka social circles. That's why humans are oftentimes labeled as social creatures. And as is normal in social circles, the natural development of hierarchies within our societies began to form. Side note, triggered liberals and diehard socialists and communists will oftentimes deny the existence of hierarchies within our society. To summarize the words of the wise Jordan Peterson, lobsters share a common ancestor with us humans dating back 350 million years ago, and even amongst lobsters there exists a hierarchical structure. To deny the natural development of hierarchies within humans would be to deny 350 million years of evolution. You can't deny what 350 million years of evolution has proven. Anyways, within our hierarchical societies grew the concept of dominance, or what some of you may know as alpha. This can also be seen among dogs and monkeys alike. Most, but not all, of the alphas in ancient human history were males. For example, Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, or Sargon of Akkad, to name a few. The struggle for power or dominance over a society often came down to a kill or be killed survival strategy. Thus, we have fighting. Fighting amongst humans was not only a means of survival and self-defense in which you were able to protect your family and loved ones, but also a way for one to convey their dominance over another. Martial artist and professor of Asian philosophy David Tian summed this all up perfectly in a recent video on Lawrence Kenshin's channel, stating, "This indomitable warrior spirit, what the best martial arts instill in us, this warrior energy is in fact a part inside all of us that has been passed down from generation to generation over hundreds of thousands of years. Out of all sports, it's in martial arts where this warrior energy is most fully embodied, getting the closest to the literal and physical fight for survival and reproduction we all evolved for." Number 2. Sociology. Not only is dueling behavior common across different species of animals, but fighting cultures have developed throughout the years in almost every human society. A quick cross-examination from one society to another shows that almost every human culture has developed their own unique fighting tradition, most of which we can assume formed organically and independent of any outside influences. But why men? Throughout modern history, we've been raised to value brains over brawn. But it wasn't too long ago that it was the other way around. Going back to our hunter-gatherer roots, while the men were out hunting and chasing mammoths, the women stayed behind with the other women and the children. This led women to evolve as predominantly social and emotional creatures, and I mean this in a good way. Whereas men were valued based on how much they can contribute to their society, aka how much food they could bring home, aka how good of providers they were, aka how strong and capable they were. Thus, differences were settled based on strength, or who can outpower who. While women became skilled at psychological warfare, men were developing their visual and spatial senses for physical warfare, be it against the animals they were hunting or against one another. Not only that, but if we delve deeper on a more psychological level, you can argue that, again, in the words of the great Jordan B. Peterson, it stems from boys' innate desire or need to find order in seemingly chaotic situations. Boys fight for the same reason that they drive fast cars, which is also the same reason they do extreme sports like cliff diving from a high ledge or balancing on handrails with their skateboards. Now, despite all these reasons as to why men fight, are there any advantages to such practices today? Before I move on to this, be sure to like this video, subscribe, hit the bell button to get notified of new releases, and feel free to reach out to me at any time in the comment section below. Number 1. Benefits. We all know sports are a good, fun way to stay in shape. Fighting, like any other sport, provides a good workout that helps improve overall coordination, discipline, strength, and stamina. But is there more to it? And staying true to the title of this video, why do men fight? Referring back to David Tian on Lawrence Kenshin's channel once again, above all, martial arts unlock, unleash, and strengthen a powerful masculine archetype in all of us who practice it. The unbreakable warrior spirit to conquer adversity and rise above it even stronger than before. It is that anti-fragile part of us. This warrior archetype in you is positive masculine energy. The best way that it was described to me that I really took to heart, especially after learning how to fight, is that it's not about conquering your opponent, but rather conquering yourself. It's about getting up after the fall. It's about learning from the mistakes and failures, regrouping, and taking another shot. Above all, to forgive yourself when you tried your best but still failed. Now let's take a more scientific approach to the benefits of fighting. Anyone who knows anything about masculinity knows that testosterone is an extremely vital hormone in men. That's why it's important for men to do what they can to naturally increase their testosterone levels. In other words, don't be a soy boy. Now, a study published in 2012 by Wood and Stanton outlines the effects of competition on testosterone. They reference the challenge hypothesis, which posits that during mating seasons and times of scarcity, testosterone concentrations rise to facilitate competition, particularly amongst males. The challenge hypothesis is relevant to human competition in the world of sports. Aha! So this is where the history lesson I gave you earlier is starting to all tie together. An athletic match is a competition between individuals over a scarce and valuable resource, e.g. victory itself, prize money, fame, prestige. As predicted by the challenge hypothesis, pre-competition concentrations of testosterone rise in male and female athletes in anticipation of the impending competition. We speculate that the pre-competition increase in testosterone may facilitate competition by both increasing motivation to compete and physical ability. So we can see here that a competitive nature, which is another way of saying combative nature, dates back to our hunter-gatherer roots, when resources were scarce and we had to compete or combat against each other for survival. In addition, our desire to win in combats is further explained in the article. In men, testosterone commonly increases following victory and decreases following loss, including experience of vicarious victory and defeat. If you've ever read 12 Rules for Life, you'll know that this goes hand in hand with the lobster theory outlined in chapter 1. And remember what I said earlier about dominance and the struggle for power? Well, check this out. Several studies have shown that other factors like context, individual differences, e.g. power motivation, social anxiety, and motivation to win, as well as cognitive appraisal can play an important role in predicting post-competition testosterone changes. Dominance-motivated individuals who positively value interpersonal dominance and dislike submission are those most likely to experience outcome-dependent changes in testosterone. So basically they're saying that the more dominant an individual is, the more their testosterone levels will fluctuate based on whether they won or lost the competition. Now remember when I mentioned powerful historic figures like Genghis Khan or Julius Caesar? It is possible that high testosterone individuals have increased motivation to compete in sports. High testosterone individuals may select into sports as a function of testosterone's positive influence on dominance striving, also known as power motivation. Basal testosterone is positively correlated with power motivation in men, whereas basal estradiol is positively correlated with power motivation in women. High concentrations of testosterone are also positively associated with selection into power-laden careers, e.g. trial law and acting. Knowing that power-motivated individuals are motivated to pursue dominance and find dominance experiences rewarding, the positive association between testosterone and power motivation suggests that high testosterone individuals may be the individuals most motivated to pursue athletic competition. So now are you starting to understand why men, especially high testosterone men, gravitate towards fighting as a form of competition? In addition to motivating dominance striving, testosterone is positively associated with a number of traits and behaviors that we speculate might foster advantage in competitive sports. Testosterone is also associated with reduced empathy, reduced perception of negative emotions, enhanced attention to social threat, and enhanced amygdala responses to social threat, which may promote an increased willingness and interest in attaining dominance over one's competition, independent of the consequences for one's competition. Additionally, Additionally, testosterone has been linked to increased risk-taking in economic domains and social domains. Lastly, testosterone is associated with enhanced visuospatial ability, which may provide greater abilities in the perceiving critical targets. And that right there, folks, is our link between man's modern-day participation in fighting and how we've evolved from our hunter ancestors. It's inherent that learning how to fight will increase your confidence in a wider range of situations, as well as improving your self-defense skills. But did you know that it's also a safer alternative to other sports? For example, a study of injury trends over 635 professional mixed martial arts matches shows that concussions occur in 3% of matches. Compare that to 20% in American football, and that's just in high school football alone, not including college or pro football. In addition, martial arts has shown to decrease violence rather than increase it. 3 elementary schools in the US were enrolled in a martial arts training program called the Gentle Warrior in an attempt to reduce bullying among 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. What it shows was that the longer a participant stayed in the program, the more they displayed empathy, less aggressive behavior, and an increased willingness to help out others who were being bullied. It's also worth noting that these effects were exhibited only in males. And to cover you ladies out there, female veterans who were suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder after being sexually violated by other soldiers during their time served showed improvements in their mental states along with a reduction in their PTSD symptoms after taking part in a self-defense program. After 6 months of this program, they also showed decreases in depression and behavioral avoidance. So there you have it. I hope that this video serves you well into providing insight as to why men fight, along with reasons why you may want to start learning a martial art for your own benefit.
Good. Oh man, keep going, doing fine. Getting better already. This match.